and praise him in here. Go on and praise him. When you look back over your life and think about everything you've experienced, it was nothing but the favor of the Lord. I said it was nothing but the favor of the Lord. If you know that it was the favor of the Lord, go on and praise him in here.
Good God afternoon, people of God. Welcome to the second Saturday in 2026, January. I want to wish my mother a happy birthday. Her birthday was on the 5th, and my auntie birthday was on the 4th. Wow, my grandmother was pregnant, God rest her soul, for 2 years straight because they're a year apart. So, and it was like the same day on the 4th and on the 5th. My mom is almost 80. I ain't gonna tell her age, but she is the oldest, the matriarch in the family, and she's strong, and I love her. I thank God for her. One of probably the hardest things that we ever have to go through as kids is to watch your parents get older, because it's like, wow, it's like they so used to being, so great and so strong, and then now they're older, and like we're gonna all get older one day as well. Welcome to Solutions Radio Show. I'm your host, Pastor Corey Wright. As always, we know what the problems are. We know we need to solve them. What we offer on this platform is solutions, dedicated acts of action that bring about true change, not just talking about change, and no excuses for excuses are man's tools of incompetence that build bridges of nowhere and monuments of nothing. I say that every show because I had to learn that in high school. I told the story about it. And you don't know how, especially if you're a teacher, how you impact somebody. And because I had to say that every day, it impacted me. And I say it every day. I want to thank God for this opportunity, broadcasting live from the WVTC radio and television network here in Illinois. Also, our sister station in Detroit, Michigan. We are doing some big things. You guys are going to be blown away about what this radio television station is doing in 2026. I am really blessed. Many of you would have been wondering what my co-host is. She won't be able to do it anymore because our schedules have been changed. We've both been promoted, and she loved doing it, but because that her schedule and my schedule and our schedules we on two different schedules now. We were on the same schedule. Hopefully, we'll be on the same schedule the next time the bids come in. So that's what's been happening. But I do miss Miss Katina Dixon, amazing woman of God. Today, I'm going to be talking about love bombing. And I wanted to really do this show about love bombing because to me, I think we take love bombing and we take a lot of these sayings out of control, or take it beyond what it really means or what it is, because we have gotten to be a society that is condoning talking to people any kind of way you want to. And if you are giving somebody a compliment, showing them accolades, blessing them for doing something outstanding, then you are love bombing them. I was dating this lady. Well, I wasn't dating her, but I was wanting to get to know her. But I admire her because of all the things she's done in life, all the things she survived in life, and because she is a beautiful woman doing extraordinary things. But she accused me of love bombing her. That I'm giving her compliments because I'm trying to get something and I'm trying to be with her. And it just infuriated me, because it's like, wow, are we that insecure, or are we that hurt, or we've had so many bad experiences where if somebody gives me a compliment, they got to be love bombing me or trying to get something from me? Are we a society where talking to each other without respect, love, and pointing to people, you know, it's a bad thing that somebody has to be love bombing you. And I just think people have taken that to a level, and I'm gonna get into what love bombing mean, the psychological part of that, the spiritual part of that, the mental part of that, why people may do that, because there are so many people insecure in who they are, insecure in what happened to them. They have let their experiences, craft their character. Whereas if anybody says anything to them that is remotely nice, that is remotely genuine, then they are turning around saying that they're love bombing them, because everybody is so looking for the rug to be pulled from under them. They're so looking for the out or the bad. They always got a plan B for something going wrong instead of having a plan A, which is God. And I really want to talk about that because I was talking to somebody the other day, an older gentleman, and I say, man, I complimented a lady, and he said to me, he said, man, you know, it doesn't make a difference what you say, you know, because most people respond from what's inside of them opposed to what's been said to them. He said it's like you're looking in somebody else's cup and wanting to make sure they have enough in their cup for them, but they're looking into your cup to see if you got more than them, which is a different way of how you measure it. Whereas you're looking to make sure they got enough, but they making sure you don't have more than them. And if you have more than them, they want you to pull into them so that they can have what you have. And that's a different way of measuring. And it made me think about how people measure compliments, how people measure love, how people measure what they have to offer somebody, how people measure happiness, that we all measure everything different because we look at what we've been through, what we've gone through, what people are really saying. We look at all these negative things and we think that everybody is trying to repeat the hurt that somebody else repeated. And I really want to talk about this because so many people have beat up good people with good intentions and have turned away God sent blessings, which were people to be with them, to help them, because they're so busy into what they're going through that they can't see the blessing in front of them. And I want to talk about love bombing. Now, what is love bombing? Let's first get into that. Love bombing is a manipulative and psychological abuse tactic. That's what love bombing is. Love bombing is somebody that's that's a narcissist that wants to tactically manipulate you and psychologically abuse you. That's what they want to do. Where an individual, person with narcissistic traits, they will shower another person with excessive displays of attention, affection, grand gestures to gain control, or to accelerate a relationship to a point of physical. This intense idealization, why are you trying to say this intense idea phase is typically followed by a devotion stage, eventually a discard stage, and a harmful cycle of abuse. So what the person do is tell you everything you want to hear, treat you every which way you want to be treated, just so they can psychologically abuse you and manipulate you. They can get you for your money. They can get you for sexual desires. They can get you for convenience, or they can get you when they need you to a point. And so what happens is after they shower you with excessive attention, because everybody wants attention. Everybody wants to feel love. Everybody wants to know they matter to somebody. Everybody want to know the work that you do for somebody because you love them matters. And it matters because some of us have been showing love to people, to relationships, significant others in life period, and nobody even say thank you. And there are a lot of people, there are a lot of manipulators, there are a lot of users who don't care about you as a person. All they care about is what they can get from you. And they're not going to display love to you until you fulfill what they need from you. So I get that. But they give you display attention and affection because everybody wants to feel comfortable. Everybody wants to feel love. Everybody wants to feel safe. Not just a woman, but a man as well. Because if you mishandle somebody's vulnerability, you have lost them. So you want to handle somebody's vulnerability where you show them the love they need, but you don't hurt them while they're vulnerable with you. Because once I'm vulnerable with you and you treat me like any kind of way, then we're done. We're done. So now everybody wants affection and everybody wants gestures to gain. They want beautiful gestures. It is nothing like being loved the way you need to be loved without somebody telling you. It is no feeling in the world for somebody to go out of their way just to put a smile on your face, just to show you they love you, to give up everything they got to lay it at your feet. How they used to say back in the day that there's a puddle of water and a man pull off his coat and throw it over the puddle of water and let the woman walk over it. See, it is something like, oh, I'm going to swim an ocean to make sure you good, or this is your special day, and I want to show you the best time in your life. There is nothing wrong with that. But people sometimes do all that to gain control or accelerate a relationship. That's what they call love bombing. I'm just trying to get you. I'm gonna, let's rush everything so I can get you in bed and everything. And it's like that. And for me, it's not like that. Because right now, I'm asking God for a wife. I'm not asking God for a night. I'm not asking God for somebody. There was a position where I was in where I could have been physical with somebody. And I told them that this is not what I want. I want marriage. I want commitment. I want to be settled down. There are places where I could have been in physical places with somebody that I didn't do it, because I know that me loving God and needing God more and doing what God wants of me is something I need, because lust has always been a part that the devil has used to defeat me. And once I defeated lust, I knew I wasn't going to fall again. I said that on my last show last week, because I understand that I have to change. And most people think what I said about resolutions, really resolutions, they're not coming up with something new. Sometimes it's stop being what you've been old. Not just coming up with something new. I got to stop doing the things that didn't hinder me. That's why when I said my motto is that I can't help nobody anymore until I help myself first. Till I'm done. Not till I help, but till I'm done helping myself first. Why? Because I put myself in positions to belittle or hurt myself trying to help somebody else. And then when I need help from them, they're nowhere around. They wouldn't do the same thing for me. The same thing about lust. So a lot of times this tense moments is followed by devaluation stage. I want to devalue you. I want to take everything from you. I want to take your money. I want to take your body. I want to take I want to be a part of your, break your spirit. I want complete control over you. And eventually after I do that, I'm going to eventually throw you away, creating a harmful cycle of abuse. So now, because see, here's the thing about love bombing that is really hurting somebody good, or taking advantage of them, manipulating them, or psychologically abusing them, is that even though you leave them, they're still going through that abuse. I've seen so many good women cannot be taken or be with because they're still fighting the battles with somebody that's not even there anymore. And how do you know? Because the minute you sit down, you talk about what you've been through. You talk about what the last guy did to you. You talk about even there with the women. You know, you're talking about what they did to you. And sorry about that. I'm trying to get everybody, connected to, we doing this, and you know how you want to share with everybody because everybody need, so I'm like, I sit down and the first thing they want to talk about is what somebody did to them. I've been through this. I've been through that. That's good. I'm sorry you've been through that. I wish I could help you. What do you want? Where do you want to go now? What do you want to do now? And these are things that love bombing doing. But here's the problem with love bombing. And when we talk about those gestures, they say these are the traits of love bombing. But watch this. What if you have these traits for somebody and you're not love bombing? What if you excessively display attention? Because I'm a very affectionate person and I affectionately show attention. If I love you, I want to show attention, but I'm going to match your energy. See, if your energy is dry towards me and just, okay, let me see you or let me have, then my energy towards you is dry or you get none of my energy. I'm not going in a place that's not warm for me. I'm not going in a place where I'm welcome. I'm going in a place where I'm asked to be. That's a big difference. You welcome to go over there? No, because I took the initiative to go over there when I wasn't invited. So anything happened, the first thing somebody can say, I didn't invite you. And you know your heart. And if your heart is wrapped up in your situation, then I can't help you. I am a very affectionate person. And I believe in grand gestures. I believe in doing nice things. So because I am a person, a good person that does that, am I always going to be looked upon as love bombing? When I really get into the psychological part of this love bombing, I'm going to show you where they're taking the gestures of a good person and making it all bad. Because it doesn't make a difference what you do if you have good intentions or you have bad intentions. Your intentions are going to be shown. But you could be a person with good intentions. They don't see that. And they don't care to see that. Because they're not looking at you. They're looking at what they've been through. Let's get into some of these characteristics. I'm going to talk about some common examples and signs that a lot of experts have said is love bombing. Now, most of these things, while initially attention and everything that they're doing is flattering and exciting, it becomes love bombing when the behavior is disproportionate to the stage of the relationship is used to being manipulated and controlled. Let me say it in an easier way. It's good until it go bad. You know what I mean? That's why most people say actions speak louder than words. But what happened is the bad start outweighing the good. The compliments become insults. The love and attention becomes, I can't see you. I'm too busy with my own life. And then eventually, once they got what they want from you, they disregard. one of the greatest things that my therapist told me when it comes to people and the disassociation with people, because like I heard a message where the guy said, when somebody left me, I cried. And I didn't cry because they left me. I cried because that they're gone. I cried because they left me, because the blessings that they were receiving was because of the favor of God on my life, because of the blessings that was on my life, that it wasn't because of them. So them leaving, I ended up leaving the blessing. And so my therapist said to me, he said that when you are the only one giving, you'll never feel guilty about leaving. If somebody has never gave you anything, they never gave you a card, and you have blessed them, losing them is losing nothing. I have watched people who had nothing that I've blessed and wouldn't turn around and give me a card. But they'll turn around and buy other people gifts. They'll use the blessing that I've given them to bless people that wouldn't bless them, but wouldn't even give me a thank you card. So when I look at the keys to love bombing, when it turns bad, because I'm sure a lot of people have tried. You can't love bomb me because I'm secure in who I am. I'm interrupted in God. So being uninterrupted, I don't worry about what people say, what they do, or what they don't, because it's what it is. So now, this is one of the things that people look at in love bombing: excessive compliments and flattery. It becomes love bombing when you're just saying that to get something, when you're trying to get that person. But if I love somebody, I admire them, and they mean the world to me, I'm going to excessively compliment them, flatter them. Because what you call excessive flattery and compliments is me building up and showing the person that's with me, I appreciate that. Now, in love bombing, it says over the top praise, such as calling someone soulmate and perfect, and very early on, often genuinely connection have been established. That I'm going to say you perfect and all. No, I'm not going to say that. You know, I'm going to say that you're an amazing person, that you're a soldier. I thank God for you. You've done great things in life. You should be proud of yourself. We have gotten to the point that if we build up people constantly, we say positive things and study negative things, and we love and show love in our words and our kindness, that we have to be love bombing. I didn't even hear this term until I started to get to know a woman and told me, because I admire the work she's done, that I have to be love bombing. And that blew me away. Like, if I talk to you and call you all kinds of names, or if I'm disrespectful to you, or if I put you down, that's more acceptable than somebody flattering you and constantly compliment you and telling you how much you good, and to push you to greatness and make you feel that I have to actually look at my life and be careful to not to say good stuff to you. That makes absolutely no sense to me. With all the negativity going on, I look at this, and this blew me away. And I want you to really hear this. I grew up on rap music that idolized and lifted up a woman being called a bitch word on the record, calling a B word on the record. In society, you're calling people N-words and all these negative words on a record, and it's being played, and then talked about, or all these movies and all these things where you got men disrespecting women and women disrespecting men and cussing, and everybody is embracing that. But then when somebody gives you excessive compliments and flattery and builds you up, they got to be love bombing. So basically you saying to people, if they say too many nice things to you, that they got to have an eternal motive, and that you would feel better if they were disrespectful, if they was dirty, or they just had so many negative and bad things to say to you. Where do that do? What, like, they make it make sense to me that in order for you to be accepted, you got to speak negativity? I'm blown away by that. I don't agree with it, but I'm blown away by that. You know, if I don't call you out your name or talk derogatory to you, I'm love bombing you? Come on. That's crazy. So they say excessive compliments, flattery, over the top praise. Over the top praise. Over the top praise. How can I over the top praise somebody who deserve it? Somebody that means something. To speak life. The word of God said you speak life and death out of your mouth. How can you over the top praise somebody? If I say you are a conqueror, I say you are a mighty woman of God, I say you're super beautiful, I say you're amazing, I'm speaking life into you. If I say that you are my soulmate or you're perfect, I know you're not perfect in the world, but you can be perfect for me. But I'm saying stuff and they look at it like I'm saying all this before a genuine connection has been established. How do you establish a genuine connection? The Bible says you try by the Spirit. We need discernment in our lives when it comes to people. We need to pray for discernment, because one of my boundaries is to use godly discernment so I won't be derailed from my destiny. But you got to look at that. Then it says rapid progression, pushing for a quick commitment, such as talking about marriage, moving in together, or planning an elaborate future only after a few dates. I'm going to tell you something. You know, after one date, if this person is somebody you want to build a life with or somebody you can see yourself with. Because if you are trying them by the Spirit, because there are people that my spirit would not rest being next to them. My spirit wouldn't feel good. It would not rest. I could not even concentrate around this person. That's because of who that person was. So there is nowhere in the world that I know I'm going to marry this person. But pushing for a quick commitment. You know, now, when I look at that quick commitment, you know, there are certain types of commitment. If I am dating you and I want to get to know you and start a relationship with you, I want you to be committed to the commitment that we're going to try this. That means if I'm dating you exclusively, and I'm committed to getting to know you, and if I no longer want to date you or date somebody else, then I'll just break it off and not leave you on. So I'm committed to the commitment. You know, I don't push for a commitment like, okay, marry me tomorrow, none, but I'm committed to getting to know you because I want to know you're interested in pursuing me like I'm pursuing you, and that we're going to work together. But then they say moving in together. No, I don't want to move in together, or planning elaborate futures. But here is a problem with that. And I'm going to come from a man's perspective. Here is a problem with that. Because many ladies, and I'm just going to be honest about it, you know, because in 2026, I'm not holding back. I'm saying what I think. If you don't like it, you don't have to listen. But I'm gonna say too many ladies involve men in their financial lives, but then they say they don't want commitment. Like, listen, I don't want the commitment of the relationship. I don't want to move too fast, but I want you to do everything that a boyfriend or a spouse or a significant other would do. I want you to listen to me, be there for me. I want you to help me out financially. I want you to go out of your way for me. I want to do everything I want you to do. But then when you start getting serious and catching feelings and want to move forward, no, I don't want to do that because we're just friends. But because of who I am, I have the right to take everything I want from you without giving you any commitment or anything. See, a lot of times we get this rapid progression twisted because many people want what they want from you without you. I'm not going to put any effort into you, show you love, treat you good. I just want you to help me out with my issues and problems. Because if I'm just a person to get to know you and you ain't into rapid progression, don't take progression from me. Don't take my progression in life, my ability in life, my blessings in life, and use them at your discretion without rapid progression. See, we don't talk about that. Oh, you want to push me into equipment, you want such as marriage and move in together and all this, and talk about, elaborate futures after one date, after a few days. No, I'm not. But if you want to take relationship benefits, you want to take the parts of the relationship that does not, that benefits you and bless you without commitment. Oh, I have a problem with that. And most men do. I heard a lady say, ain't nothing wrong with a man taking me to a fancy restaurant and say, for instance, the dinner was $1,000. If he want to get to know me, he can do that. He can do that. And I'm like, okay, he can do that, right? But what if he asks you to go home with him? Is he wrong? He asks you to go home with him. Is he dirty? Is he trying to move too fast? Is he treating you like a piece of meat? A man shouldn't want to spend that much money on me. Why? Are you his woman? Are you his wife? Are you guys, me, my first date with somebody, before we go out to dinner, let's go have some coffee. Let me feel your personality. Let me see who you are. You know what I mean? Because I have a problem with rapid progression when it benefits one person. You're supposed to be my man. You can't help me out. Okay. But then when I start talking about more commitment and everything, you don't want to talk about that. You move it too fast. Let's move for a quick commitment. I don't mind a slow commitment as long as you don't take commitment benefits. Now, I know a lot of people go out there, especially ladies, you probably read that. I see the comments and people like, oh, nah, you can't say that. Yes, I can say that. I can say that. I'm not asking for yours. You have women have ridiculous requirements for a man to do to get to know them just so they can say they're not interested. No, thank you. I've been through that before where I've had people use me and have me doing everything that a man should do. I told you last year somebody tried to come back in my life when somebody really destroyed them. But then they come back into my life, after they got, divorced, they came back in my life and said, I wish I'd have gave you a chance and everything. Okay, yeah, you saying that now because this man then ran over your face, but you didn't think about that when I was helping you through your emotional problems, when I was helping you financially, when I was doing for you, when I cared for you. And the minute I told you my feelings, What did you say? You said that we just friends, and I'm not ready for all that. And, I didn't know you was gonna feel that way, but you took everything you could that a man would give, and then let me know right then and there that rapid progression is they talking about love bombing. No. That stops. No. Because if I'm gonna give you every benefit of a relationship that you don't want to be in, it's not gonna happen. And it's the same thing vice versa with women. That man wants you to do everything for him, help him, and he won't do nothing for you. He didn't want to commit. He didn't want to settle down. Drop that joker. So when we talk about rapid progression and you don't want to push for quick commitment, you don't want to talk about marriage, you want to talk about being together, you want to plan elaborate futures after a few dates, then that's fine. I'm 100% with you on that, especially in this love bombing age. But don't take relationship benefits then. If you're not going to be exclusive with somebody, say, I'm just dating and I'm not dating exclusively, fine. That's fine. But don't take benefits from that. Because you know what? You don't have a right to take what somebody worked their hard for just because they got to get to know you. Because a lot of times men don't get a chance to know a woman without doing for a woman first. Simple. Many people don't want to deal with that, but it's the truth. Women deal with it sometimes. I'm not saying it's just a man thing. Women deal with it as well. They got to help a brother out a long way and then, build him up, and then he end up going with somebody else. But a lot of men don't get a chance, especially in this day and age, especially if you're a good man with a good job and a good heart, you don't have a chance to court many women without having to help them first. But then everybody always scream about that rapid progression. When that lady told me that, well, man, if he really want to be with me or really want to get to know me, and I want to go to a fancy restaurant downtown, then I should be able to, he should do that, and nothing wrong with that. Why? And he shouldn't expect nothing. Okay. That means I can utilize him to take me to the best place, and I ain't never gotta even care or whatever. And when I don't want to deal with him, I just throw him to the side, and he did all this for me. No. I see our sisters out there like, no. That's not right. That's not right. And then, so we dealt with excessive compliments and flattery, which I think is just pouring into it, but this love bombing situation. And then we felt with rapid progression. You know how I feel about that. Just explain how I feel about that. Because I believe we take as much time as we need to, but we don't take benefits without commitment. We don't take benefits without progression together or talking about a future or planning elaborate futures together. So we don't do that. We take as much time we take, but don't ask me to do duties as your man if I'm not going to be your man. Don't ask for benefits, that you want me to do for you and I'm not with you. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Now, the next one that's really tripped out is constant communication. Demanding to constantly contact through non-stop texting or calls and getting upset if the recipient doesn't respond immediately. This is something that I kind of, I'm on the fence with this constant communication because there are people that love to keep talking to you. A lot of times when I come home from work, I'm tired. I go to bed early. And most people that get on the phone with me want to manipulate. They don't want to let me off the phone. That's why I don't answer my phone often after work, because they don't want to let me off the phone. Somebody will call me and I'm giving them all type of hints that I don't want to be on the phone right now. Give me a break. And they still go on and on and on. I understand sometimes we're lonely. I understand sometimes we're going through stuff, especially as a pastor, as a leader. I know a lot of people that's going through stuff, they're dealing with stuff, and they need to talk. I understand that, and I get that. But you cannot bum rush people. Sometimes I don't want to talk. And people they're constantly text me, they're constantly talk to me. And it's like, I can't deal with that. I don't want to talk all day. I can't have a relationship over the phone. And you cannot smother me. You can't smother somebody. Sometimes, I'm not going to do that. But if you're not, and then another thing is, I'm not going to keep talking to you and you're not talking to me. Life is life and for everybody. But if you're going to call me just to talk about negative things and just to talk, and if all I am is somebody you mention problems to, then I don't have a fair place of communication. I have a place where you are in when you're in a bad place. I don't want to be a person that people just call when they're going through bad. I don't want a relationship like that, especially if I have not put you in any bad positions. But people used to blow up my phone. There was a point I was a 911 dispatcher, and I worked for police and fire, and I was worked in AV. I worked a lot of 911 jobs, and it was like I'm talking all day on the phone, right? All day on the phone, and I get off, and everybody want to talk to me about everything, and I'm steady trying to get off the phone. It was like I'm telling people, well, I'm relaxed, and they ain't gonna get it because they want to keep talking because they don't have anybody to talk to. And I'm trying everything I can to be like, hey, listen, I'm trying to get off the phone, or I'm just like, man, I don't want to talk all day. Oh, you act like you want to talk, you want this, and they go on and on and on and on and on. And there are some people who will talk for hours and hours, and they won't even realize. There are many times where I've had my phone and somebody talking, and I put them on speaker and just set it down and watch TV. And I ain't heard a word they said, because it's like, listen, I don't want to keep going on and on. I don't need constant communication. I don't need constant reassurance. I want to be considerate of you, because I would like a point whereas, if we're together, we're around each other, then fine. We will talk. We have to talk. Sometimes we can just chill, enjoy. But you can't get constant communication. And that's when everybody want to talk to you, or you're not responding immediately. What you doing? I'm at work. I have many people call me. What are you doing? I'm at work. What are you doing at home? I'm making my bed. I fall asleep early, but I make it my business. I don't answer my phone sometimes in the evening. Sometimes I just don't want to talk. I'm relaxing at home from a long day of work, and I make sure my mom is good, make sure everybody's good. I'm relaxing, and I don't want to go back and forth with people. I don't want to go on. I don't want to go in. I don't want to deal with that mess. I just don't want to do it. So if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to talk. And sometimes that seems to be a problem. People that is love bombing you want to always talk to you all the time. And then some people just want to talk to you all the time. If you gotta constantly communicate and get mad if I respond immediately, something wrong. Something wrong. And if my conversation is always a conversation of talking about the bad days, my communication is gonna be limited. Two things when it comes to my boundaries. I protect my energy. I'm gonna match good energy, and I'm not going to give my energy to bad energy. Simple. That's one of my boundaries. I talked about that last week. That's one of my boundaries. If your energy on the phone with me is to be one where you just won't let me get off, and you're going to try to bomb me with everything at once, and you're going to keep calling me, and you're going to hear less from me. Now, if your energy is a negative energy and all you want to talk about is problems and all you want to talk about what's going on and you don't want to show a brother love, you don't want to talk about good things, you don't want to pull up, you don't want to do those things, you always busy with everything in your life, fine. I'm not going to even try to talk to you. You won't get none of my energy. And my energy is going to be scarce around you. Because it's easy when when things that they're going to happen. So that constant communication, I'm on the fence with that. That can also be a love bombing, or that can be people who just are lonely and they want they want to live vicariously through the phone with you because they can't live with you, period. Or if they were with you, then it'd be different because they're under you. I don't mind my wife, significant other, always under me, but eventually we need rest. We need space. We can't always constantly, so I'm on the fence with that. Another one is lavish gifts. I'm on the fence with that one. Is right. Lavish gifts. You want to give people you care about gifts. It says giving numerous or expensive gifts that seem inappropriate for the nearly early stage of relationship, which can create a sense of obligation. Now, that is both ways, because there are some people who want to impress you with what they got. There are some ladies that's not going to talk to a man that got less or don't have what they need to have, which again creates love bombing. And there are a lot of cats or a lot of ladies, a lot of people with money who prey on people that's weak because they know that they can give them what they can't give themselves or what they don't have. And some people are in bad need. Then what happened? They get what they get and then they use them and leave them alone. That's what a lot of these pimps do. A lot of these people out here with money, because there are a lot of people who are with people just for money. There are a lot of people, you look at a lot of these stars and a lot of these famous people, and they got women lined up, not because they're good looking, not because they got all this charm and pizzazz. They got money. They got fame. A lot of people are attracted to who you are, to people, who you are in society, what you have. They're attracted to your wealth. They're attracted to your impact. They're attracted to your fame. They have nothing to do with you. So a lot of times they'll give you, they expect lavish gifts. A lot of times I give people gifts from my heart, but I'm not giving them obligations. I'm not telling somebody you got to do something for me because I did something for you. No. Now, that works both ways. Don't take lavish gifts from people if you know you don't want to be obligated to these people. I'm not saying it's right to give anybody anything out of obligation or make them feel that they got to do something for you because you blessed it. But you got to ask yourself, if I just met this person, why does this person want to buy me a brand new car and pay all my bills? Because, see, we can, in this society, act naive if we want to, but we woke. We woke. You know what I'm saying? One of the stars I like, and I'm not a big rap fan. I mean, I like some rap, but Biggie Small, rest his soul. He said in one of his lyrics, "I'm black and ugly. However, I stay with Gucci down to my socks, rings, and watches filled with rocks." He already know that I'm getting these ladies not because I'm a good looking guy. I'm getting these ladies because I'm Biggie Smalls and I got money and I'm fame and everything. And a lot of times you got to do that, but we act naive. We act naive. I've been in clubs where when I was in the world, I was in clubs and you have that one lady, beautiful lady, she's sitting at the bar and she gonna sit there and talk to you as long as you keep her glass filled. Once that glass is filled, she going to go somewhere else and she going to talk to somebody else. And she going to talk to that person. As long as you keep her glass filled, she going to talk to you. But a lot of times we take gifts and we want to act like it didn't mean nothing to us or it shouldn't mean nothing to you for doing. I've had a lot of people, that have taken advantage of my kindness and weakness, at the time. And I say kindness and weakness because I was such a good person, weak in my giving, weak in my discernment, and weak in my boundaries at that time. Whereas I let people take what they needed from me and leave me or walk away from me just to be with somebody else, or say I shouldn't have developed any feelings. Okay, but you're taking everything you need from me. Now, that's not your fault. That's my fault because I was stupid enough to do it. Won't happen again. But when we look at lavish gifts, especially in early thing, why are we giving lavish gifts? There is a thing on Facebook and on these social medias where this guy do this prank with this fancy car. He'll walk up to this lady, beautiful lady, on the sidewalk. They're rude to him. They cracking jokes on him and everything. One lady's like, I ain't got no time for you. You broke. You ain't got nothing. You ain't this and that. But then he go walk and sit in his fancy car. And when he go sit in his fancy car, they come running to the car. Hey, how you doing? Everything. He basically like, wait a minute, I'll just match your energy. What changed? Oh, I didn't know you was riding like this. The car. Why is it that people dress the way they do? Why do they dress the way they do? I remember, and I ain't gonna say his name on the radio show, but I was working down at the Hyatt Center, and one of the owners of the Hyatt Center's son, and these owners of the Hyatt Center is very rich family in the world. And I went out, we went to this place called the Shark Bar downtown, and he went with us and some of the guys from the job. And he basically like, it's all on me, and he could afford it because his father's a billionaire, and that makes him a billionaire pretty much. And he had a black card, and he showed the lady, the lady, he said, I'm gonna open up a tab. He showed the waitress, he said, here is my card, and here is my ID. You see my name. Please don't say my name when it's time to pay the bill. We have open tab. So we got food, we drinking, whatever we drinking. Some young ladies sitting down with us. He talking to a nice young lady. They talking to us. He was like, well, I'm an investor. These are my associates, and they investors too. And it said, don't worry about it. Whatever you want to eat, whatever you want to drink, you can drink. So obvious they knew he had money. And he said, don't worry about it, because they were ordering $100 bottles of big bottles of, they was ordering big stuff. And it didn't matter. And so the lady didn't want to go with him, didn't want to deal with him. She basically like, well, thank you, but no, I don't think so. But I really had a great time. So the waitress came and said, Mr. So-and-so, can you sign this? And the lady said, so-and-so? And she was like, yeah, what's his name is my father. Oh, if you could have seen the change in her eyes, if you could have seen the change in all their eyes, because from that moment on, that lady that I was talking to wanted to take me home. Not because of me, because of him. And that lady changed. She was like, well, I was a little, because I've been hearing it all night, but, I mean, we can get to know each other. He said, no, I can't do it. You know why I can't do it? Because until you knew who I was, you were nice. And I guess you figured that, okay, you're going to get a free drink and you're going to get a good time, and it's on me. So you're going to enjoy yourself and you're going to be nice and courteous. But once somebody changed because they know who I am, I can't date them or deal with them. If people, because you would never know who my father is, because I'm not dressed like that. I don't look like that. So, but now that you've done, I have to look out for those that want to get pregnant and those that want to claim unfalseness. So I can't deal with that. And it blew me away because he said that this was happening. And she said, I have to say your name. It's my job. And he said, I understand. I don't want to, I never want people to use my name because I don't want people to look at me different. Because my father made sure that we lived a normal life. I didn't know my father was who he was and what he was worth and what he does until one day in 7th grade, a classmate did a report on my father. And that's when I went home and my father basically was like, this, that, this, that, this, and that. But he looked like a funky kid, funky guy that, you would never know he's worth all those, billions. And so when you think about lavish gifts, you have to understand that people got motives behind it. I don't. But I won't give people what I need for myself anymore. But if somebody's giving you these lavish gifts, they're doing it because they care. They're doing it because you mean something to them. They're doing it because now the bad people are doing it because they're trying to get you. The bad people are trying to get you in a position where you need them, where they own everything. So now you're committed to it. You have to watch lavish gifts. Another part of love bombing is isolation tactics, trying to monopolize the recipient's time and making them feel guilty for spending time with friends and family, gradually isolating them from their support system. There are a lot of people that do that because once somebody do all this to get you, and when you think about the Ike and Tina Turner, so what love got to do with it? He isolated her away from her family so he was able to abuse her. He isolated away from her family with money, with everything that was going on where she was alone. And a lot of people that's love bombing you or trying to get over you, monopolize you, your time and psychologically abuse you. They want you alone. And a lot of times, isolation tactics is always take up your time. And that's something for me that it ain't even just for love bombing, but people try to take up my time. Only when we're married, you have a right to take up my time. But at some point, you have to let me have time by myself. Because one of the things that I do when it comes to my kids, I have personal one-on-one time with each one of them, but I also have collective time. But I have time outside of family members and everything. So there's a time, even if I'm with somebody and we have a blended family, there will be times where I will have isolated one-on-one time with everyone. But I have isolated one-on-one time with my sons, my middle son, my oldest son, and my baby boy, where we're hanging. And we have that time, but we have collective time. But I have that time with them, but I cannot be in a place where I need all your time, all the time, every time. No, even when we get married. But again, a lot of people do that. In the beginning, I got to call you constantly. I got to be around you constantly. You come over here, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And it's like, listen, I get it, but I can't do all that at once. And we talk about love bombing. Everybody wanting, let me just get all this. Let me get that. Let me see this. Or we're going to do this. Or we're going to do this. You're going to come over here. You're going to do this. That's okay. But because one of the things that you look at, you calling me all the time. You texting me all the time. You can't do that all the time because I can't be with you all the time. And a lot of times people are used to being isolated. You have a family. Many people feel alone because they don't see the people that love them around the people that love them. No, I got time. I got to have time with my family. I got time with my family. I can't be around you constantly. But that's not just love bombing, because these are all the points of love bombing. I just think it's another name for insecurities and for doubt, for needing self-renewal or they need somebody to validate them. That's what I think this is. And I think a lot of these terms like love bombing and all this other stuff is just teaching our society to treat one another and say whatever they want to say to people and think that's okay. That's not. You know, these same characteristics for love bombing are good characteristics. It is the agenda, and it is what's in your heart behind this. You know, and another topic, is ignoring boundaries, disregarding established boundaries and becoming upset or angry when simply trying to enforce them. One of the things of love bombing that I do agree with is that people will do all these characteristics to get you not to enforce your boundaries. And that is one of the things that's one of my boundaries that I am enforcing my boundaries in 2026. One of the things that have always defeated me is that I will always say I'm going to do something and the devil will send somebody to make me, to inspire me or cause me to do something different. He can't make me do anything. I'm God's chosen. But he'll send somebody. Like if I say I'm going to save money, he'll always send somebody to me that will make me spend money. But I'm trying to save money. Or if I'm trying to do right, he'll always send somebody my way to entice me to do wrong. You know what I mean? Because when I say I'm going to live for God, then all of a sudden I become attractive. Everybody, want to put me in it. When I'm saying I'm not living in lust and flesh no more, I have more offers now that I'm saying that I believe that, and I'm living that, and I want Jesus more than anything. I want to know him like Peter knew him. I want to know him like Paul knew him. I want to know Jesus. I want to be Jesus' servant just like that. I want to be able to do what Jesus called me to do, what he said I could do, what he said. I want to do exactly that. And so now I've been offered more people than you could imagine, but I want none of that. Because that was something the devil always got me with, was lust. And when I was able to conquer lust, it was different. To be in a place with a beautiful woman and do nothing. To be in a place where no, thank you. If it ain't commitment, it ain't God's way, I don't want it. No, thank you. You're very beautiful, but no, that's not me. That's not what I want. Another thing is my finances. That's always defeated me in my finances because I would give people what I need for myself. Just like the man said, I'm looking at people's cup to see if they got enough. They're looking at my cup to make sure I ain't got more than them. You know what I mean? Their measurements of how they measure life is different. But I've been there because I give people what I can spare outside I've done helping myself. That's the difference. I stick to my budget. I stick to my targeted savings goal. I put up what I'm supposed to put up towards the business that I'm trying to do and the property I'm trying to buy. I do those things regardless. And if I spend what's in my budget, I don't go in there. I just go without. I'm that disciplined. If I have a certain budget to spend, and if I help somebody with that budget, then my budget is what it is. I go without. And I'll tell somebody, this is what I can help you with. And once that's gone and you did what you want to do with it, that's on you. It has nothing to do with me. Because I'm not going and doing what's going to hurt me to help you. Because I know people wouldn't do that for me. I know many people have tolerated me and they want nothing to do with me, but they tolerated me because I'm blessing them. They don't want to do with me. So when I look at that and I say to myself, anybody that's going to make me get angry about me enforcing my boundaries don't need to be in them. And I don't have to feel guilty about losing somebody that don't want me to enforce my boundaries because most people I lose are the ones that use it. The people that bless me stay. The people that's taken from me leave. And I ain't got to get mad. People say, how can you do me wrong? I didn't do you wrong. I didn't do you wrong for two reasons. I didn't put you in no bad situation. And all I did was bless you while you was in your situation. So I left clean. That's something I said last week. I leave clean. Tell me what I physically put you through. Tell me any amount of money that I cost you. And tell me what I didn't give you when I had it. I leave clean. My hands clean. That's the difference. Now, we talked about the manipulated action. Let's talk about the abuse cycle. Love bombing is often a phrase in a cycle of abuse, certainly associated with narcissistic abuse. This is where we want to get deep into it. Love bombing is narcissistic abuse. It is somebody who only care about them and self-centered, and they only want you for what you can do for them. One of the greatest narcissistic ways of love bombing is to always talk about yourself. If you have a conversation with somebody that's always talking about themselves, whether it's good or bad, everything they're going through, everything they believe, everything they do, everywhere they want to go, every place they're going to go, and always talking about them. If you're talking to a person who will never acknowledge you and never bless you, that's a narcissistic person, which breeds love bombing. That narcissistic abuse. Let's talk about that. The ideal of love bombing. The bomber creates an intense, seemingly perfect romance, making the victim feel special and loved. Most people use you to make you feel special and loved until they get in a place where they can treat you bad. That's love bombing. See, one thing about me, the people that say I love bomb you, I've never put you in a place to hurt you. I've only put you in a place to help you. It's a difference. The ideal of love bombing, the bomber creates an intense, seemingly perfect romance, making the victim feel special and loved. Then the devaluation. Once the victim is hooked, the abuser withdraws affection, becomes critical, moody, and demanding. They may use gaslighting tactics to make the victim doubt their own feelings and perception of reality. I've been there where I've had somebody hook me on them, make me feel love, and then withdraw their affection, become critical, moody, and demanding. All they want to do is talk about what they don't have. That's all they would. I ain't got no affection for you no more. And I'm critical. You could do this. Well, I believe that. Well, what you doing this? Well, how can you say what I could do when I'm doing better than you? But they're going to criticize you. They're going to make you feel good. They're going to become moody and demanding. I need this. Well, I don't have this. I'm this. Can you do this? And they may use gaslighting tactics to make you, well, if you did this, we would be better in this place. Or if you was more like this, then we'll be better together. Because they're using you. And then once they do that, the biggest abuse part is the disregard. If the victim tries to set boundaries or leave, the abuser may end the relationship abruptly, leaving the victim feeling confused, devalue, and blame them for the failure. The cycle may restart and renew love bombing to win the victim back. That's how they do it. I'm going to make you feel confused. And then when you set boundaries that's best for you, I'm going to take my love back. And this is the ideology of my therapist. If you look at what they've brought to you, done for you, poured into you, you'll realize it's nothing. But they gonna make it seem like they did so much for you. They gave you the world. They were standing right there, even though you did all the work. And then they gonna gaslight you and make you feel good. And then they gonna make you think it's your fault. So they gonna stab you in your back, see you bleed, and then they gonna hand you the knife and blame you for bleeding. That's what gaslighting do. So what do? If you suspect you're being love bombed, trust your instincts. This says instincts. I said the spirit. Use discernment. The Holy Spirit. Try people by the Spirit. Look at their fruit. Because there are track records and resumes to where we've been at. There is no place that I've been that I owe anybody anything. I've been on radio for years, but there is no station I've been on that I owe anybody anything. I don't owe anybody. There is no church that I have not went to that I have not made an impact, that I have not pulled into, that I have not blessed. Nowhere. Everywhere I go, I bless and build. Even when I'm scrutinized, I bless, build, impact. You have to think about that. No matter what happens, I bless, build, and impact. So when you look at your instincts, you set boundaries. Clearly communicate your comfort levels. Observe how the other people react. A healthy partner will respect your boundaries. Abuser will likely become upset. If I tell somebody what makes me work, what makes me feel good, what do I look at, and you get upset, you're an abuser. If I tell you that I feel a certain way and this is where I'm comfortable at, and you say that you have a problem with that, one of the things that people used to do was I would set boundaries, and people will go and put themselves in a position to make me come out of my boundaries and do for them anyway. I would say, hey, this is all I can do. And they would be like, okay, but then they will go do something, and then they would say, well, I need you to help me here, because I'm in this situation and I don't know what to do. And what I would do is I would, to my detriment, go help them. And then now they got what they want, and I'm in a bad place and they can't help me. I don't do that no more. Somebody say to me, well, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And you know what I say to them? Same thing my therapist said to me. I understand. And what that's saying, I understand, is I understand you in a situation. I understand I didn't put you in that situation. And I understand I can't help you out of that situation now. I understand you going through. Believe me, I understand. I've been there. But I don't do that. That's one of my boundaries. Healthy partners, they congratulate or they encourage good boundaries. Anybody have a problem with anything that makes you feel safe, they are an abuser. Only abusers get upset. Well, why you feel that way? I have a right to feel that way. I may want to eat my chicken baked, and you upset that you cook fried chicken. Okay, right now, this is my boundary. I want baked chicken. I'm going to eat baked chicken. If you have a problem with me eating baked chicken and I don't eat your fried chicken, you're an abuser. Anybody who get upset with what you do, which is best for you, and because it doesn't benefit them, they're an abuser. Healthy partners will respect your boundaries. Okay, you don't want to eat fried chicken. You want to eat baked chicken. You know what? Let's eat baked chicken together. Okay, you eat baked chicken. You eat your baked chicken. I respect your. I'm going to eat my fried over here. So you got what you want. I got what I want. But I'm respect your boundaries. Another thing is maintain independence. Continue to spend your time with your family and friends and pursuing your own hobbies. One of the things with me, even when it comes to relationship, comes to people, family, I'm going to spend my time, but I'm going to spend time when my energy is good. But I'm never going to stop doing what I work so hard for. I'm never going to stop pursuing property and pursuing business and pursuing some of the things that God gave me. I'm not going to stop pursuing that. I'm going to pursue it because I'm pursuing it. I maintain my independence. I'm not going to put myself in a place of detriment for you, but I'm going to maintain that. So whatever you don't like about whatever I'm doing, you have a right not to like it, but I am not going to change it for you, especially if you're not building anything for me. You know, that was the biggest thing in therapy that touched my life. I am worried about scrutinization, thoughts, and opinions of people who have never poured anything into me. The people that pour into me are not, they have nothing to say. The people that's helping me build, they have nothing to, it's the ones that take with nothing put in. No, thank you. So I maintain my independence. Why do I have to listen to you when you don't work with me to accomplish anything? I'll listen to you. I'm not stopping derailing my plans to prove who I am and what I am to you. It's not going to happen. So you have to maintain your energy. I'm going to do what works for me unapologetically. And I'm not going to let you put me in a position where what I do works for you. Now, you can put me in a position where what I do and you do works for us. But if you're not in a position with me and I'm not in a position with you to do what works for us, then we're not in a good position. Not going to happen. Another thing is to always seek an outside perspective. Talk to trusted friends, family members, mental health professionals for an objective viewpoint. One of the things that people don't want you to do is to get an outside perspective. You know why? Because people don't want to be wrong. There are so many people don't understand that people twist words. If you really look how Jesus was tempted in the wilderness by Satan, which he was led in there by the Holy Spirit, Satan twisted the word and Jesus repeated the correct word. That's the difference. And Satan had to flee. You have to get a professional's perspective. What did therapy do for me? Therapy gave me a professional perspective. It gave me a perspective that I didn't see. And it showed me where I got stuck. And it gave me the tools to get unstuck. But it gave me the tools not to get stuck again. So sometimes you got to look at an outside perspective. Sometimes we are victims of our own intelligence. Well, can't nobody tell us nothing. We are too busy crying about being victims of the world and study being students, learning to do better in the world. I know God has so many amazing big things for me. I know that he has it. You know, I know that he has it. But I also know that this whole time was him getting me ready for what he has for me. You know, hold on one second. One second. People calling me, and I need to see I'm online. And so that when we look at the outside perspective, and I really want to get this, is we don't know everything. One of the hardest things in life is to see people who won't admit that they're sick. One of the major things in therapy was Dr. Thomas made me admit my feelings, admit my hurt, and deal with it. If you won't admit that you are something, if you won't admit that you're going through something, you won't admit that you've been through something, and you won't admit you need help from something, that something keeps growing. One of the things that you have to do so you won't feel that you love bomb is you have to get an outside perspective. If you want to know I'm love bombing you and I'm really who I say I am, look at my fruit. Look at what I've done. Look at who I am. I had a situation that I changed this lady's mind because she put me in a position where she was throwing herself. And I was feeling some kind of way. But I knew it was against God, and I knew I asked God for a certain thing, and I knew the devil wanted me to mess stuff up. I wasn't going to do it. I want you to get that. And I want you to also prioritize your safety. If you feel unsafe or you're struggling to leave a relationship, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Go to family members, or go to friends. But prioritize your safety. Make sure you really understand what somebody's offering you, and especially if you think it's love bombing. Because a lot of people got into amazing situations, and it took a lifetime to get out of. One of the greatest things about Tina Turner's story was Tina Turner was going through, when she first met Ike, Ike wasn't a bad person. Well, he was a bad person, but Ike didn't treat her bad. Ike didn't treat her bad until later after he married her. It was that part in the dressing room when he hit her. When he in the press room, he's like, you the sorriest I know. I got the right song at the right time and everything. She said, well, what if I get up there and don't sing? She tired. He said, I need you to get on that stage. And the abuse started. But when she got him, and I even like what he said to her mama. When the mama said, you say Anna Mae sing that good? He said, put it like this. I can get anybody in my group, but I want her. And when you think about that, you got to look at the safe. Look at what all she had to go through. Even on what love got to do in her 40s, coming out on her own, look what happened. He still tried to scare her with a gun, but she wasn't scared no more. She wasn't the same small, frightened Anna Mae. She was big, and look what happened. She made so much money, did so much great things outside of that. So you have to prioritize your safety. You have to watch out for these love bombers, these manipulators. But if you try them by the Spirit, many times, and I've said this many times, God shows us who people are. But because of our desire, the way they look, what they have, and what we want, and just simple, some of us are so lonely, we ignore what God shows us. There is nobody that God over on me or did me wrong that God just showed me they were wrong. I decided not to pay attention. And when we look at the things that you have to go to, people can love bomb you unintentionally. People don't mean it. Sometimes what you perceive as love bombing is stemming from deep-seated insecurities, anxious attachments, or lack of healthy relationship skills. That's the part of love bombing. Because I got about a little over half an hour. I want to get into that everything that we say is love bombing is not love bombing. What we hear is people that are pouring into us, that is showing love to us and acknowledging and giving us accolades. But because we have characters stemmed in deep-seated insecurities and anxious attachments or a lack of relationship skills, we feel that they are love bombing us. First, let's deal with deep-seated insecurities. There are a lot of people that's insecure. There are a lot of people that are in leadership positions, that are in relationships with amazing people, that is very impactful, that are insecure. And they don't just have insecurities, they have deep-seated insecurities. And some of those insecurities happen because they've been through some horrific things. They've been through some dirty things. And so they got deep-seated insecurities. Do you know, there are some people so insecure, my therapist was saying, is if you ever text somebody that got to get the last word, they got to get the last text. You can thank them for something or say you welcome or whatever. And okay, and that's it. They can say, well, you have a nice day. You too. And they're going to say bye. Like there are people literally that will not let me get the last word, even the last text. There are some people are so insecure, they will never, there are people that I have talked to that the minute you say something they don't like, their insecurities are so deep rooted, they'll never let you get another word in. Never let you get another word in. Insecurities. So any compliment is love bombing in them because they're insecure about themselves. They're insecure about their weight. They're insecure about their finances. They're insecure about their love. They're insecure about their faith. They got deep-seated insecurities. So love bombing to them is they don't understand it. Now, anxious attachments. There are stuff in life triggers that make us anxious. There are people who don't like being in rooms. They don't like being around people. They don't like to feel a certain way. They're anxious about it. They got anxious attachments. There are some things that people have been through that make them have bad feelings. They got anxious attachments. Sometimes kids make them feel a certain way. Sometimes that, their kids is already getting stuff and you with them and they got so much, they like, I'm tired of dealing with it. There are people with them anxious attachments that they anxious. They got that anxiety bad. They can't stay still. They always worried about it. I got to get out. You got to get me out. There are people anxious. When you meet them, they want you out. They want out of their situation. They don't care. Get me out of this situation. You love me. You want to be with me. I need you to get me out of the situation. Get me out overnight. They're anxious. They can't even sleep at night. And then there are some people just lack healthy relationship skills. Some people don't know how to talk to people. Some people don't know how to treat people. Some people don't have respect. Everybody want to overtalk you. Everybody want to go in on you. Everybody want to treat you like whatever they need, like you ain't nobody, but they need you. Nobody have good relationship skills. That's why people keep going through relationships after relationship after relationship. There are some people keep leaving. Why do people keep leaving? Because again, you don't know how, you don't have good relationship skills. Some people are gorgeous, beautiful. Some you may have men who are handsome, who's very creative, who's successful, but they don't have good relationship skills. Where someone feels intense emotions but expresses them in an overwhelming, boundary-ignoring way that mimic manipulative tactics. So, when a person has deep-seated insecurities, anxious attachments, and lack of healthy relationship skills, they genuinely feel and miss emotions, but expresses them in an overwhelming, boundary-ignoring way that mimics manipulative tactics. While malicious love bombing is intentional manipulation, the unintentional kind involves someone who, with good intentions, who create an immense, suffocating pace, excessive affection driven by their own need for reassurance rather than calculated plan and control. Ooh, I just said a mouthful, didn't I, engineer?
Oh, yeah.
I'm about to say that again. That what happens is that when a person is doing it that has deep-seated insecurities, anxious attachments, and a lack of healthy relationships, they're genuinely feeling intense emotions, but express them in an overwhelming, boundary-ignoring way that mimics manipulative tactics. While malicious love bombing is intentional manipulation, unintentional manipulation, or unintentional kind, involves someone with good intentions who create a suffocating pace, executive affection driven by their own need for reassurance rather than a calculated plan to control. What happens is love bombing can be unintentional when you're doing all this because you need reassurance. When you always calling somebody because you need reassurance they're interested in you. When you always doubt that somebody care about you because you need, when you just smothering them and suffocating them because you need reassurance, because you don't believe somebody will love you the way they should, and you need reassurance, so you snatching and grabbing, you constantly snatching and grabbing. That is love. That is unintentional love bombing. You never heard that. Because you're doing that because you overwhelming. You overwhelming, but expresses them in an overwhelming way, which mimics the manipulative tactics. So there are some people who are lonely, love hard, but they don't believe in themselves and they don't have a good place because they have, again, deep-seated insecurities, anxious attachments, and a lack of healthy relationship skills. All they do is smother what they want. And then they overwhelm them. Let me do this for you. Let me do that for you. Let me love you. You don't love me. You don't care about me. You don't spend time with me. I want to be with you. You don't want to be with me. You see how you do this? And it's always a problem. That is unintentional love bombing. Wow. You never heard that. You've heard of intentional love bombing, manipulation, but you got attention. Most people don't get that. Well, I need a man to always be there for me when I need him, and I need a man to spend more time with me, and I need this. No. No. You can't love somebody and care about them when you don't smother them. Always want them to tell you something, or you keep going through all your problems and you're constantly wanting reassurance. That's love bombing, unintentional. If I have to keep on reassuring you every day that I want to be with you, I got to keep reassuring you that I want you every day. I got to keep doing this constantly every single day. That is unintentional love bombing. If you got to be under me constantly, if you got to do everything in an overwhelming way, and you got to be all up on me all the time, everywhere we go, that is unintentional love bombing. And this is the last point, because I'm going to talk about, and I might recap a little bit, but I want to really talk about this. Let me ask you a question. And this is the most serious question of this radio show, because I pray it bless you. Please like, love, and share. Send this to everybody. But could a good person who's sure of themselves, who loves God, knows where they're going, securing themselves uninterrupted in God, who God could have shown them that you're the person, could that person be mistaken for a love bomber? I want you to think about that. When I was studying this last night, God gave me a scripture. And he gave me Psalms 127. And Psalms 127 said, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. It is vain for you to rise up early and sit up late, to eat the bread of the sorrows, and so he giveth his beloved sleep. Lo, children are heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb of his reward. As arrows are in the hand of the mighty men, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man who has quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate. God is saying, if you build your house without him, you're laboring in vain. That's for all those church leaders and people. If you're doing your work, and you could be doing valid work, you could be preaching you could be doing great work, but if you're doing it without God, you're building it in vain. If you're watching over the city of God's people, and you waketh, but in vain, it doesn't mean nothing. It is in vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, so he giveth his beloved sleep. You're getting up early and you stand up late dealing with sorrow because you have not built or gave what it is to God you're supposed to. Because when you really give it to God, doing it for God, you sleep well. When you're uninterrupted in God, you sleep well. So when I ask the question, can a good God-fearing man or woman who know who they are and know who God and know what God showed them? Because I have a friend who I did a radio show with, who's going to be back on my show, when we were 21. Now, I'm 52 now, so it's been a long time. He met his wife and married her on the same day he met her. And not only do they got a bunch of kids, they happy, and I've never seen them upset. They have been happy and in love. Were he loving bombing her? Or did they know that God said it was? Some people don't believe in love at first sight. I do. Is that love bombing? Could it be that there are secure men and women of God who God has shown you, who tried you by your spirit and watch your fruit and know from day one that it is you they're supposed to be with? I answered that question. I said, yes, genuine enthusiasm and good attention can absolutely be mistaken for love bombing, especially in the early dating stages, because both involve, watch this, immense affection, but the key difference lies in the intent, pace, and consistency. Love bombing is a manipulative tactic with ulterior motives of control and dependency, feels overwhelming, insecure, and ignores boundaries, whereas good intentions lead to real, patient connection, respect for pace, a genuine courtesy about the whole person and not just the idealistic person. Many of us, we are hoodwinked by love bombing manipulators, narcissistic people, because we have not tried them by the Spirit, asked God for godly discernment, and we have not seen the fruit that they bear. both people, a person that is sent by God, that is a good person, has genuine, and they're genuinely enthusiastic about a person. They have good intentions, and they're often mistaken as love bombing. I have been mistaken as a love bombing because I believe in building up people and speaking life into people. But my intent, pace, and consistency, I've never asked anybody to do something for me because I paid for something. I've never put people in space. Matter of fact, I had to stop responding to some people because last year I had people who would never, ever check on me, see how I'm doing or anything, but they would inbox me for money. Can you help me with this? Can you bless me with this? Can you bless this foundation? Can you do this? But would not even think about it. You know how many people that I've had love bomb me here wouldn't even donate $1 to this radio station, but then turn around and look at it. I've had people who I've helped, and they'll turn around and say, well, what do I get paid? Okay. I'm paying for the space, and I'm giving you an opportunity without asking you for nothing. But everybody is looking to get something. That's why a lot of people don't have none, because people have forgotten about giving, doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. You know, I'm always blessing somebody, but that's why I'm always blessed. Where other people are suffering, I'm being promoted. Where other people's going, I'm being blessed. Why? Not because I deserve it, but because I put a blessing. I be a blessing to other people. And you reap what you sow. It is better to give than receive, I know, because I'm always giving, constantly. There is a difference in a genuine person and that have been mistaken for a love bomber because they have the same intense affections, but they have intent, pace, and consistency. That is the difference, people of God. And I really wanted to do this show. Because it meant a lot to me. Because I want, like next week, I'm going to be talking about getting hurt by people you love. I'm going to be talking about people that you love, because it's easy to accept when the enemy hurts you because they're your enemy. But it hurts when your enemy becomes your enemy after being the one you love. It hurts for you to go through something unnecessary and brutal and hard with somebody you've given your all to, just to have them treat you like nothing. That is the worst thing in the world. But so many people do it. And we don't think about who we hurt. Because one of the greatest aspects of that show is the fact that you're hurting people whose favor on their life is keeping you above, who's faithful above water, whose favor on their life is blessing you with the happiness you have. Some of you all are crying because you lost irreplaceable God-sent people that had an anointing and a light on their life that is benefiting your life, and you didn't realize that. I have the impact that I've had in their life or wherever I went at, but it doesn't matter that they won't admit it. That because that's why I'm that enemy. You know, Dr. Thomas said something to me, my therapist. He said the greatest confirmation you have is how somebody tried to dilute you and downgrade you. Because if losing something bad was really bad to lose, you wouldn't want to lose it. But when you lose something bad, you're glad to lose something bad. He said, name the last time, or ask yourself, when was the last time you wondered about the trash you took out? I wonder where that trash is. I wonder if they burnt the trash yet. I wonder if I can call the city disposable people and say, hey, what did y'all do with that trash? What's the process of the trash? No, you don't. When you take out trash and you put it in the garbage can, either in front of your house, behind your house, and they empty that trash, you never think about that trash again. So if you are thinking about trash, it's because that wasn't trash. That meant something. But you're not going to say it meant something, because thinking about it as trash helps you deal with the loss. Many people in life are hurting. Many people in life are dealing with deep-seated insecurities. Many people are dealing with anxiety attachments. They are dealing with a place where they don't have great relationship skills. And there is help for this. A lot of this that's in our character has been taught through hurt and pain, through bad experiences. We've dealt with this. And we're trying to call everything love bombing. We should speak more life into people. If I love you, I should tell you I love you every day. I should show you I love you every day. But I should give you and feed you good words. There is no limit on flattery and complimentary if you truly love somebody. There is no boundary, or there is no limit on progression. Sometimes two good people together would rapidly progress because they're in tune with each other. And God never said blessings take long. And you should be in constant communication with your love person you love in a relationship or marriage, but not to the point where you need to be reassured everything or get mad at them and can't respond. Sometimes I'm at work. And if I love you, I'm in a relationship with you, I shouldn't worry about, I should give you lavish gifts. And I shouldn't try to isolate you or ignore your boundaries. That's what love and respect is about. You know? And that's the thing that we got to get. You know? Love bombing to me is a legitimate view. It has an emotional and a psychological abuse and, manipulative ways. I agree. But everybody that loves you, pour into you, and put great words are not love bombing you. You will never know if somebody's telling the truth if you can't feel their spirit. That's why it said try by the Spirit. We serve God in what? Spirit and truth. Because it's truth in the spirit, not in the flesh. It's spirit. But we make it about flesh. My shows are going to whole nother levels this year. You see, my last week's show was different. A lot of people talking about it. This show, they're going to be talking about it. Next show, they're going to be talking about it. I'm going to get back into preaching the word on Sundays. I don't need to be in nobody's church to preach the word. I can preach on my medias, on my platform. I'm going to give a good word of perspective every day starting next week. Where now we're starting Monday, where I'm giving a word of perspective with the word of God every day. Because I want people to understand they matter. I want people to get this. You know, everybody ain't out to get you. There are still good men and women out here. There are still people who value who you are. Everybody ain't love bombing you. That lady said I was love bombing her. I really liked her. This is a while back. Really liked her. I thought she was an amazing, beautiful woman. But she was hurt, and she was teaching her daughters to look at men the same way. The devil defeats us with double-mindedness. If you say that all men are dogs and no good men out here, why are you praying to God for a good man? That's double-minded. He ain't sending you nothing. But if you pray for a good man and believe you going to get a good man, he's going to bless you with one. We have gotten this love bombing mixed up. We are better than what people think of us, and we have to better our diction towards one another. You are not your situation. You are not your community. You are a man and a woman of God. You are a child of God. Do you know in the Bible, you know, God never refers to us, but never referred to us as adults. Even in scripture, he said, when I was a child, I thought like a child. But when I was a child, I put away childish things. We are childs of God, sons and daughters of God. This is what he said. Because adults are hard to change their mind. Why? Because we have lived a life that shaped our thinking where we're not open for change and difference. All we know is our way, even though our way hasn't worked for us. We have lost the respect. We have made this dating stuff and love unfair. You know, we have been set up to lose in this thing because we view stuff by what we've been through and not what God put in front of us. I don't like the term love bombing. I understand it, you know, and I think it's another fancy word, but I think if we didn't have all those deep-seated insecurities, if we didn't have anxiety attachments, if we didn't have a lack of relationship skills, then we wouldn't have so much love bombing going. Because how can somebody love bomb somebody that's a man or woman of God that use discernment, that the Holy Spirit shows you who they are? There's a difference. If you are insecure, you are hurt, you are in pain, you are going through stuff, then you're going to look at everything as love bombing. And then we have to watch those unintentional love bombers. Those people who want to constantly call you, constantly be in you, they're smothering you. Some of you are unintentionally love bombing because you're trying to consume a person because you want them. And you don't let the relationship happen. And then love bombing is also when you want you talk about rapid progression, but you want progressive benefits. I want everything from you that I need from you, but I don't want anything that's going to make me have to take you in a relationship. No, thank you. We got to be smart about that, people of God. We got to know that we're worth more than that. You cannot tell me my worth. New Year resolutions. In I don't have any new resolutions or resolutions, but I stopped being the versions of me that destroys me or hurt me or keep me stagnant or allow the enemy to defeat me. I stopped doing that. I'm smarter with my blessings. I am away from lust. And I'm going to continue to do what I need to do regardless of anybody's support. I'm not fighting nobody in their house. I'm not fighting nobody in the house. You don't have to acknowledge who I am, what God said, or what God is doing. If you do, you don't. I'm not fighting in your house because God will give me my own. People of God, I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. I want to thank you and all the people that follow the Solution Radio Show. It makes me feel good because I've been doing this a lot of years. And I said to myself, I'm going to give my all for the next 6 months in a strong manner. I'm going to give the shows that I've never given in 6 months. Then I'm going to make a decision from there when it comes to radio if I'm going to continue. But from January to June, I am going to pursue radio with everything I got and try to get in a place where, that I am making a living from radio. And I gave myself 6 months to do so. If I'm not where I should be in 6 months of radio, then I'm probably going to, rethink doing radio. Because I've given myself 6 months. I love radio, but I understand that I need to be doing it for a living. And that's what my goal is, to be on mainstream radio, where I'm on radio station, FM radio station or whatever, or that I'm every day making a living in radio. So I'm going to give it a strong 6 months, and then I'm going to reassess radio and everything I'm doing in radio. And that's my goal when it comes to radio. So if I haven't made any progress in 6 months towards that, then I know that I have to go a different direction in radio. Much as I love it, you can see I can talk 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours with no problem. One of the guys from a couple of other hosts say, man, you can talk 2 hours effortless. Yes, I can. That's just what I do. I love to talk. I love to preach. I love to teach. I love to talk. So I understand that when it comes to doing this, but I want to make a living at this. I want to be the greatest radio personality I can be. So people of God, I pray that this show blessed you. I pray that you got a different perspective of love bombing. I pray that we won't use love bombing and the effects of love bombing and what it means loosely, that we would really take care of what we say and how we say it, because there are good people that's not love bombing, that's really loves us. And you only can tell the difference through the Spirit. Try by the Spirit and by the fruit people bear. I love you guys. Tune in next week where I talk about people you love and hurting you and how dangerous that is to them, especially if you God sent. It's going to be a powerful show. I'll see you guys next week. Remember, be the change you want to see. And remember, nobody's coming to rescue. God is with you. You get up and you rescue yourself. Love you guys. See you next week. Deuces.
Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ, WVTC Allsip Chicago, and iNetworks Communication Station.